Batman changed Hollywood's approach to comic book adaptations through hidden production choices and unexpected historical influences. Director Tim Burton's vision transformed not only this film, but how studios approached mythic storytelling forever. These are 20 more hidden details you completely missed in Batman. Number 20. Before Jack Nicholson signed, Robin Williams accepted the role of the Joker and was used as leverage to convince Nicholson to commit to the part. Warner Brothers executives strategically leaked Williams' involvement to the press, pressuring Nicholson into negotiating faster. Williams felt betrayed by the tactic and refused to work with the studio for years afterward. Nicholson ultimately secured unprecedented profit participation, earning over $60 million from the film's success. The casting strategy created industry controversy about ethical negotiation practices. Williams' comedic energy would have created an entirely different interpretation of the character. Producer John Peters later admitted the leverage tactic damaged relationships but achieved the desired casting outcome. The incident became a cautionary tale about Hollywood deal-making ethics. Number 19. Burton and producers reportedly offered Ray Liotta several roles during development before casting decisions solidified, though specific parts remain unconfirmed. Liotta was riding high from his performance in Something Wild and attracting attention from major studios. The actor declined involvement with Batman to pursue other projects he felt showcased his range better. Compare his early screen test era screen presence to the final ensemble's aesthetic. Burton's casting process involved extensive testing with dozens of actors for supporting roles. Liotta later stated he didn't fully understand the film's vision during those early conversations. His career trajectory took a different path, with Goodfellas releasing the following year. The decision demonstrated how actors evaluated comic book projects with skepticism before Batman proved their commercial viability. Number 18. Composer Danny Elfman was asked to blend influences from contemporary pop composers, initially considered for songs by Prince and Michael Jackson, with orchestral motifs resulting in a hybrid sound. Burton wanted a score that felt both classical and modern to match Gotham's timeless yet decaying aesthetic. Contrast heroic brass cues during Batman's action scenes with moody percussion in the darker sequences. Elfman had primarily worked on quirky comedies before Batman, making this his breakthrough into major blockbuster scoring. The iconic Batman theme became one of cinema's most recognizable superhero motifs. Prince contributed several songs to the soundtrack album, though only a few appear in the actual film. Elfman recorded with a full orchestra at the CTS studios in London. His work earned a Grammy nomination and established him as Burton's primary musical collaborator. Number 17. Original treatments by Steve Englehart and Julie Hickson preceded Sam Hamm's script, and later uncredited rewrites were performed on the fly during shooting by Warren Scarron. Englehart's version included Dick Grayson and a more traditional comic book tone. Tonal shifts between acts reveal evolving narrative priorities as different writers contributed layers. Hamm established the core Batman-Joker dynamic and the Jack Napier origin story. Scarron was brought in to add humor and lighten some of the darker elements for broader appeal. Burton shot scenes while rewrites were still happening, leading to some continuity inconsistencies. John Peters pushed for changes that emphasized action over character development. The collaborative writing process created a patchwork screenplay that somehow cohered into a compelling narrative. Number 16. Billy D. Williams was cast as Harvey Dent, specifically because producers planned for him to become Two-Face in a sequel. His contract included options for multiple films with character development toward the villain transformation. Dent's more prominent presence in early act scenes hints at those original plans that never materialized. Williams brought gravitas to what could have been a throwaway supporting role. Burton and the writers planted subtle seeds showing Dent's complexity and potential darkness. Batman Returns ultimately went in a different direction, and Williams never got to play Two-Face under Burton's direction. Tommy Lee Jones eventually portrayed the character in Batman Forever after Burton departed the franchise. Williams expressed disappointment for decades about losing the opportunity to complete Dent's arc. Number 15. Willem Dafoe was reportedly considered for the Joker long before Nicholson was approached during the early development phase. Dafoe's natural facial structure and intense screen presence made him an intriguing option for the role. Tim Burton conducted informal discussions with Dafoe's representatives but never extended a formal offer. Studio executives preferred a bigger name to guarantee box office success. Dafoe would later play the Green Goblin in Spider-Man, proving his ability to embody comic book villains. Concept art tests from early casting discussions explored various physical interpretations of the character. Burton's vision evolved significantly between those early conversations and the final production. The director ultimately wanted someone who could balance menace with dark humor in equal measure. Number 14. To heighten anticipation, press screenings and select interviews were conducted in advance of release, feeding Batman Mania globally before the film opened. Warner Brothers launched an unprecedented marketing campaign that began nearly a year before the premiere. Napier. Archival premiere footage shows international fan lines wrapping around city blocks in major markets. The studio invited journalists to visit the Pinewood Studios sets during production, generating early buzz. Entertainment magazines featured extensive behind-the-scenes coverage months ahead of release. The Batman logo became a cultural phenomenon, appearing on merchandise before audiences saw a single frame. Peter Guber orchestrated the marketing blitz as a test case for modern blockbuster promotion. The strategy proved so successful, it became the template for how studios market tentpole releases. Number 13. Interiors for Axis Chemicals were shot on sets originally built for Aliens, reducing build time and production costs significantly. The Alien sets had been preserved at Pinewood Studios, where Batman production was based. Pipework and corridor design match industrial sci-fi motifs with dark, claustrophobic atmospheres. Anton first modified the existing structures by adding Batman-specific details, like chemical tanks and walkways. The repurposing allowed the budget to focus on building Gotham's exterior cityscapes and the Batcave. Sharp-eyed viewers familiar with Aliens might recognize similar architectural elements in both films. The chemical plant confrontation between Batman and Joker takes place in these retrofitted spaces. This practical approach to set design became common in blockbuster filmmaking to maximize visual impact while controlling expenses. Number 12. The Acton Lane and Little Barford power stations doubled for industrial Gotham exteriors, grounding city visuals in real brutalist architecture rather than purely constructed sets. Anton first scouted locations throughout England seeking appropriately Gothic industrial sites. Watch for unique brickwork and turbine facades in the background during exterior Gotham sequences. The power stations provided authentic architectural weight that set construction alone couldn't replicate. First modified the locations with additional facades and props to enhance their cinematic presence. The brutalist aesthetic perfectly matched Burton's vision of Gotham as a decaying urban nightmare. Filming at practical locations saved budget costs that was redirected to building the massive Gotham City backlot sets. These real-world foundations made the fictional city feel tangible and lived in. Number 11. Story analysis indicates Vicki Vale's investigative arc was likely inserted during rewrites to provide narrative grounding, rather than from original drafts by Sam Hamm. Early treatments focused more heavily on the Batman-Joker dynamic without a significant romantic subplot. Kim Basinger brought star power, but some transitions around her scenes feel trimmed or abrupt in the final edit. Warren Scarron's uncredited rewrites expanded Vicki's role to make her more integral to the plot. The character serves as an audience surrogate, discovering Batman's identity alongside viewers. Critics noted her investigative journalist profession felt underutilized compared to her damsel-in-distress function. John Peters wanted a stronger female presence to broaden the film's demographic appeal. Despite the structural awkwardness, Basinger's chemistry with Michael Keaton helped sell the relationship. Number 10. The surname Jack Napier doesn't originate in the comics, but was invented by screenwriter Sam Hamm as a backstory element. The name references both Jack Nicholson and the word Napier, which sounds like nape, suggesting violence. Early script excerpts and novelizations use the name uniquely, later adopted by various Batman media. Comic book purists initially resisted giving Joker a definitive origin and real name. Hamm believed grounding the character with an identity made his transformation more tragic and compelling. The Killing Joke comic had explored similar origin themes, but never provided a confirmed name. Warren Scarron performed uncredited rewrites that expanded Napier's backstory further. The invented name became so popular, it influenced subsequent Batman adaptations and merchandise. Number 9. Batman co-creator Bob Kane was brought on as a creative consultant to help ensure comic legacy aligned with cinematic interpretation, though his actual influence remains debated. Production stills show Kane visiting sets and posing with the Batmobile. Kane's contract guaranteed him screen credit and compensation despite limited day-to-day involvement. His presence served partly as marketing, connecting the film to Batman's 50-year comic book history. Tim Burton reportedly consulted Kane occasionally, but relied more heavily on contemporary comic writers for inspiration. Kane expressed public approval of the film's darker tone, validating it for skeptical fans. The consultant role became standard practice for comic book adaptations going forward. Kane's involvement helped bridge generational divides between longtime fans and new audiences discovering Batman through the film. Number 8. Tim Burton and the production team cited Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns and Alan Moore's The Killing Joke as tonal inspirations, even though the movie diverges from their plots. These graphic novels had recently redefined Batman as a psychologically complex character suitable for adult audiences. The film's gritty noir panels around the cityscape evoke Miller and Moore aesthetics through shadows and moral ambiguity. Warner Brothers initially hesitated to embrace dark source material for a major summer release. Burton insisted that honoring the character's darker roots would distinguish this adaptation from previous campy interpretations. The Killing Joke's exploration vision of Joker's origin influenced the Jack Napier backstory elements. Anton first studied comic panel compositions when designing Gotham's oppressive architecture. The tonal shift influenced how Hollywood adapted comic properties, proving mature themes could succeed commercially. Number 7. Sound designers built many of the city street atmospheres using real urban recordings layered with engineered Foley work to create an immersive Gotham soundscape. The team recorded location audio in New York and London to capture authentic metropolitan ambience. Listen to layers under action scenes where footsteps, engines, and mechanical ambience create depth. Foley artists recreated specific sounds like the Batmobile engine and Batman's cape movements in controlled studio environments. Sound editor Richard L. Anderson coordinated hundreds of individual audio elements per scene. The team won the Academy Award for Best Sound, recognizing their innovative approach to building Gotham's audio identity. Mixing real and created sounds made the fictional city feel sonically authentic. The soundscape became as important as the visual design in establishing Gotham's oppressive atmosphere. Number 6. The brief French phrases spoken by Joker reference themes from Victor Hugo's The Man Who Laughs, a story that influenced his comic book origin. Burton intentionally included the literary connection to add intellectual depth to the character's madness. Joker's line,
Bruce Wayne, n'est-ce pas?
appears in scenes at the Flugelheim Museum. The Man Who Laughs tells the story of Gwynplaine, a man with a permanent grotesque smile carved into his face. Bob Kane and Bill Finger cited Hugo's novel as inspiration when creating the Joker character in 1940. The French dialogue also emphasizes Joker's performative, cultured persona before descending into violence. Nicholson improvised additional French phrases during takes, which Burton kept in the final cut. The literary references elevated Joker beyond a simple comic book villain into a tragic figure. Number 5. On opening weekend, Batman delivered the biggest box office gross of Nicholson's career up to that point, surpassing his previous top releases by a substantial margin. The film earned over $40 million domestically in its first 3 days. Early box office charts from June 1989 show Batman dominating all competition. Nicholson's profit participation deal meant he earned more from this single film than most actors make in entire careers. The opening weekend success validated Warner Bros.' gamble on Burton's dark vision. Industry analysts were shocked by the numbers, having predicted a more modest performance. The record stood for years until subsequent blockbusters gradually exceeded it. Nicholson's combination of star power and percentage points created a legendary Hollywood deal. Number 4. The creative team linked his chalk-white face and grin to early literary depictions of disfigurement, enhancing existential discomfort beyond simple villain aesthetics. Beyond Victor Hugo's The Man Who Laughs, the team studied historical accounts of disfigured individuals in literature. Subtle framing during Joker monologues emphasizes the uncanny valley effect of his frozen expression. Nick Dudman's makeup design made the smile appear both permanent and painful. Burton wanted audiences to feel simultaneously attracted and repulsed by Joker's appearance. The psychological impact of a face frozen in mirth while committing atrocities creates cognitive dissonance. Production photographs show various grin designs tested before settling on the final version. Nicholson's natural expressions beneath the makeup added layers of authentic emotion to the grotesque facade. Number 3. Jack Nicholson had clauses in his contract about call times due to his personal routine, meaning the crew adjusted shooting orders around his makeup application timeline. The actor refused to arrive on set before mid-morning, forcing production to schedule Joker scenes later in the day. Burton accommodated these demands because Nicholson's star power was essential to the film's marketability. Other cast members sometimes waited hours for Nicholson to complete his makeup and arrive. Notice Joker scenes often appear in later daylight, with specific atmospheric qualities. Producer Peter Goober accepted the scheduling constraints as a necessary compromise for landing such a prestigious actor. The contract also included approval rights over his character's dialogue and costume choices. Nicholson's demands set precedents for how major stars negotiated creative control in blockbuster productions. Number 2. Joker's use of Smilex gas via parade balloons reflects a storyline approach that blends psychological warfare with media spectacle. The 200th anniversary parade sequence shows mass panic as citizens realize their festive celebration has become a death trap. Burton crafted the scene to feel like urban terrorism, unsettling for 1989 audiences unaccustomed to such themes in superhero films. Look closely at crowd chaos during the parade scene, where extras performed genuine fear reactions. The Smilex concept originated from Sam Hamm's screenplay as a way to make Joker's threat citywide and immediate. Production designer Anton Furst created the massive parade set on Pinewood Studios' backlot. The giant balloon characters included familiar figures twisted twisted into grotesque versions. The sequence cost millions, but became one of the film's most memorable set pieces. Number 1. Prosthetic makeup designer Nick Dudman used specialized Pax makeup and hundreds of silicone applications for Joker's face to avoid allergies and preserve mobility. Nicholson spent approximately 3 hours in the makeup chair each shooting day. Dudman tested various chemical formulations to ensure the white base wouldn't crack during intense performance scenes. The red lipstick design extended beyond natural lip lines to create an unsettling permanent grin effect. Close-ups reveal subtle texture shifts where prosthetics blend with Nicholson's natural skin. The makeup team won widespread acclaim for creating a look that felt both theatrical and disturbingly realistic. Dudman had previously worked on Return of the Jedi, bringing creature effects expertise to human character design. The Joker makeup became iconic, influencing villain aesthetics in comic book films for decades. Batman reflects hundreds of quiet creative decisions involving casting strategies, adapted source material, hybrid score tactics, and location choices that lasted far beyond its premiere. Burton's vision transformed superhero cinema through details most viewers never consciously registered. Which hidden detail surprised you most, and what film should we open next?